Hello, hello. We are back. It is a Thursday, and we are here to talk about all the figures we've had for the last 10 years, just with hair being added to them. Be an interesting show. How are you, Pete?
I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. Yeah, yeah, it's real hair's all the rage. So yeah, we'll get on to that. But evening to Toy Mafia and Mark Mitchell so far. We've got three watchers. Hopefully that'll build up as we carry on. Oh, that's dropped to two now. Wishful thinking. Um,
Yeah, one of them went, oh,
um,
fuck this.
yeah. We've no, I think we were just to say we've seen there's quite a lot on the show, but I think thankfully for our wallets, there's not really a lot, or if anything, that we've gone. Yeah, I need to have that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's certainly some interesting stuff to talk about, and we've got Bob Dylan in as well now. Hi, Bob.
here he is. Hello. Yeah, yeah, there's, like, I think you just said, I'm so happy that I don't like any of it. I'm like, no, my wallet is now
I'm not saying
safe.
that object. Yeah, I'm not saying objectively. I don't like some of it. I think some of it's really good, but I don't feel the need to pursue them.
Splash
Particularly
out.
some of them are going to be quite limited, and they're going to, it's going to drive the prices up. Um, which
Mm,
a lot
very
of
true.
people wanted. A lot of people wanted more limited. Not that they're numbered, but makes them harder to get.
Mm.
So, and we have Badfish. Good evening, sir.
Here he is. Hello, hello. So let's jump straight in then and let's have a look at the stuff we picked up that we probably shouldn't have because we're naughty boys.
Just
Oh no,
just
let's
before
do
we
the
get there,
let's do the giveaway first. Let's do
yeah,
that.
yeah. So we got the Collecting Weekly 3,000 subscriber giveaway. We're marching towards 2,900. I think we're going to be hopefully hitting this in the next couple of months. So yeah, if you want to get your bids in, not your bids, but your chances in, if you subscribe to Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, subscribe to Ben Thomas Show and to 16 Fix, and also to Collector Zone. If you like and join their Facebook page, I think, or Instagram. Um, yeah, and there's all in every show. We're giving out. So let's just go with Joker for this show because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about
Let's
the
change
Joker.
it.
So
Let's
yeah,
have let's have hairy Joker.
okay, hairy Joker.
Hairy Joker.
So
That'll do.
that's your bonus entry for tonight, Hairy Joker. Add that to all your other ones that you've heard and everything, and obviously you going to increase your chances of winning that Carnage Hot Toys Carnage figure. So yeah, good luck.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So, Pete, what did you
Yeah,
pick
so
up?
knew this for um a bit underwhelmed, very a bit boring really. So I've got I actually had two figures come in, but one isn't for me. One is for my son's. He's going to turn 13 in September. So his package came first. That was the battle droid, the Geonosis battle droid from Hot Toys. So I did open it up to have a little look, just make sure it was all okay, nothing broken, nothing missing. Yeah, it looks good, but when you pick that thing up, it just feels like a piece of balsa wood. There's not a lot to it, and you
Mm,
think, I mean, and I didn't pay. I got it straight from Hong Kong, like second batch. So I think I paid about 160, and I saw people paying like 250 for those. And even at
yeah.
160, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money for not a lot of plastic. It's very nicely done, but it's one of those ones where I really think, yeah, you're not really getting your money's worth there. But he's going to love it, and obviously I told him like a year ago that he would have it for whatever it came in time for. So originally I think it was going to be Christmas, but it's come in time for his birthday, so he can have it for his
Mm,
birthday. That'll be his first hot toy, and start of I think it'll be a droid collection because he's very much into the droids. And then the other parcel came a couple of days later. So this is the Hot Toys Attack of the Clones R2D2. Essentially, pretty much exactly the same as all the other R2s. I mean, I put him side by side with my Force Awakens R2, and I mean, no reason for it not to be, but it's the same sculpt. It's all the same quality. He's got a little bit of heavier sand weathering, like an orangey sand on his shoes, on his feet, because he's on Geonosis. But to be honest, you could put that in any display. So I don't. Yeah, so I've got him in. This is my little kind of Death Star escape scene at the moment. It's not really in a permanent place. It's kind of just behind me. So yeah, he's fine, and I think I paid about 220 for him, and I think I've seen him going for like 240, something like that. So if you haven't got an R2 and you didn't want to pay the absolute fortune for the last one that came out that was kind of labelled the original trilogy one, this one's pretty much the same. I think the only one, the only accessory it doesn't have, I think, is Luke's saber. That because obviously this is pre the original trilogy. So, but I think I mean, I haven't done a side by side. I'm sure someone will correct me, but it's got about 15 like different attachments and stuff. So it's pretty much the same, I would imagine. He's got most of the same stuff. So yeah, a good release. Whether I keep him long term, I'm not sure, because I need to sort out in here, and if he gets a permanent place, fine. I don't need to sell him, but yeah, it's exactly what I expected of him. Decent figure, but yeah, nothing to get super excited about, really. But
yeah. I wanted to pick one up for a while because I've got the old Sideshow R2, and it's absolutely fine. Like, it doesn't look any worse or any better than most other R2s I've seen, but I'm always tempted. I am always tempted just because I've got the
best thing to do,
Return of the Jedi one coming, so I'm always a bit like C3PO. I'm always a bit like,
yeah. I would say, and again, there'll be naysayers, but I've got the other two I've got are Force Awakens R2D2, and apart from the fact they come with nothing, there's very little to pick. People argue about the weathering. Well, you can take that off, or you can add more. So I would say to you, if you see a Force Awakens one, preferably if the electronics are broken, that's what I picked my second one up cheap. I got it for like 110, I think, because the lights and sound didn't work, and I wasn't bothered about that anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to go for one of those if you get one reasonably cheap and the electronics don't work, because you don't really bother with, and particularly with these, there's not even really an easy way. I used to have them wired up with like from the Hendra Wu, where it has like the batteries and then wires attached and that kind of thing. It's just a pain in the arse. So I don't display them lit up. So yeah, I think it is an improvement over the Sideshow, but not enough to pay hundreds. But yeah, the Force Awakens one.
That's the
enough,
thing.
I think
it's. I kind of go mine. I paid like £100 for it, and it's fine. It does the job. And then every other one I see is almost like either another £100 over what I paid for the Sideshow one, or more. And I'm like, just can't justify it. Because like Caffeinated Coffee fans saying he got these for $2.40 off Pop Culture. Even then, like, I don't want to spend 250, near enough 250 quid.
No, it's like this has been about 220
and
for
it looks
me,
fine.
and I'm like, it's a lot of money for what it is. The die-cast dome is nice. It's a better scale, undoubtedly a better figure, but yeah, I think you've got to be looking to try and get a possibly broken Force Awakens one for 140 or less, maybe.
Yeah, I think if your R2-less completely, then it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
because you kind of go right. Okay,
exactly.
I need to start off with.
That's a different one that's not the one that you muddied up for Dagobah.
Yeah, it's a different one. So the Dagobah one
sold
went
that one and then picked up another one. I thought so.
Yeah. If I ended up getting another Luke, I'd probably muddy up the one I've got and then just have them both. I'd probably just have them both displayed together as a Dagobah thing.
Yeah, and the only reason I really went, well, because I've got the 3PO coming as well, but I mean, there's been no word on him, so I don't know what,
Mm.
he's obviously been delayed. Um, so at the moment he can go in with, he's next to my second sideshow 3PO, and obviously I have pre-ordered the Return of the Jedi 3PO as well, but yeah, we'll wait and see on that 3PO. I'm a bit worried about that because they've obviously come up against some issues.
They've gone really quiet.
In the fact that it
Really
went on
quiet about it.
pre-order at exactly the same time as R2 and the Battle Droid, and was slated to release at the same time as well. And these have been out 3 months now, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
there's definitely something up.
yeah, they've come
Definitely.
up with some logistical issue, like mass producing it, I think. So yeah. Anyway, over to you, mate.
So you were kind enough to give me one of the Will Miller sculpts, the hand sculpts.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
I know when a sculpt's really good when it's so easy to paint. And this is one of those sculpts that kind of falls into that category because it didn't feel like it took much effort at all to paint it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. In fact, I love it so much it's knocked my Inigo off. So now I display my Bespin hand with this, and the Inigo head is just sitting on the shelf, and I'm tempted to sell the Inigo head and just keep this one.
You get a good money for that. Yeah, this I think is a good younger. I think the Inigo one works quite well for Jedi, and that's what I've put mine on now. But I think if you're looking at certainly A New Hope, which is what this was based on, but I mean you can definitely use it for Bespin as well. I think I think it's great, and he's just done those couple of indies as well, which I've got both versions, so I'm looking forward to seeing those.
Yeah, it made me all of a sudden want to have a crack at one of the indies, and I was like, no, behave yourself. You've got an indie one. You're perfectly happy with it. Leave it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's this. The trouble is, it's this ongoing upgrading of head sculpts, and as much as I say to myself, nah, I'm happy with what I've got. When it comes to Harrison Ford, nobody's nailed it yet, and when you get one that's like, actually, that's the best I think is out
close,
there. Yeah. I find it hard to resist them, to be honest. And as you say, you could always move on the Han Solos and Jokers, the bedrock of 1/6 collecting. Honestly, I mean, if you collect and build indies, that is a lifelong passion. And you're never done. And Han is a little bit like that as well. Being that we've had so few official releases for him as well. So yeah, no, it looks great, mate. Yeah, it looks really good. Glad you're pleased with it.
It's one of those sculpts. It comes in, and I'm like, right, I've got to stop everything I'm doing and jump straight on this. Like that's when I know it's pretty much done. Good, because I was like
3 hours after.
Yeah, it was like it's arrived, and I've started painting it.
Yep.
Like it was, it's love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you very much for that, Peter. Much appreciated.
Oh, no worries. You're very welcome, mate. Yep.
And let's have a look then at some of these new old releases that we seem to be doing.
Yeah.
So we have the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man and Lizard Base. You can get this for 290 quid for the pair, and I think it's a bit cheaper if you get it without Lizard Base.
That's this guy here, which is quite nice. I quite like it, but it probably pushes the price up quite a bit, I'd have thought.
Yeah, it does.
It's a big old lump. Yeah.
Yeah, the base figure's fine, but it's. If I had the old one, I probably wouldn't be that bothered, because realistically, people aren't that bothered about the Garfield sculpts. You kind of, if you got Spider-Man, you want Spider-Man. So it is what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be buying it because I'm not jumping down that rabbit hole.
No,
but on the whole, it looks okay.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people would say this is their favourite Spider-Man suit of the on-screen movies, particularly because he's got the, and as you said, and even more so with the mask because it's got the biggest like eyes, so it's closest to the Todd McFarlane look, which everyone likes. So yeah, I think it's a good point there that how many people are actually going to display it with the Garfield sculpt anyway. It's not a bad sculpt, but it's
it's just showing
it's a little bit caricaturish. Like the nose and the ears are a little bit too, exaggerated, and it's a shame because apparently people said that Garfield didn't give them his image rights to his appearance in No Way Home, which is weird because I don't know why, whether.
But then this isn't a No Way Home figure.
It's not, but then he's got that the spray thing. Does that come with the figure? Like the antidote.
Yeah. I'm not, no, he has that in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Is that the one from Amazing Spider-Man?
Oh, does he? Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember. I know. I just remember they developed all those like serum things in No Way Home to change them all back, didn't they? But okay, fair enough. If you had that in that film, that's fine. And okay, yeah, and you're right. They never solicited this as No Way Home. It is Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think they've probably made some improvements to the suit, and as you say, it looks okay. But yeah, but then I don't know who's buying this. Unless you really, really love this suit beyond any other thing, a lot of people are going to be buying this and the Maguire and the Holland ones to do the pointing at each other kind of thing. So then they will be using their heads, won't they? But
I think it's just Hot Toys being cheeky, so they don't have to acquire any new licenses or likenesses.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah. And there was Ian's frozen. There is a really good custom 1/6 scale older Andrew Garfield sculpt that somebody was selling as well, which looked pretty good. So there are options if you want to pick up a custom head that reflects his older appearance in the movie. So I haven't got a picture here, but I've seen it and it looks pretty good, to be honest. So
yeah,
that JB has got 3 Harrison Ford head sculpts coming my way for custom indies and best in hand. Who are they coming from, JB? Who's sculpted those ones? Be good to know. Oh, right. So they're saying Badfish says it comes with the lizard stand, which would make sense. The antidote thing. So
got Lane here as well. Nice. So while we're on the Marvel train, let's have a look at this classic Loki, which I don't know why anyone would buy at 290 quid, but hey ho, here we go. So yeah, 290 quid in all its glory. Look, it's a really good figure. The sculpt's great. It looks just like he did on the TV show, so I'm not knocking it for that. But 290 quid, particularly when there's a far cheaper So-So Toys one out there, seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with that one. I don't think I definitely don't think this is twice as good as that one. Yes, all right. The cut and sew might be a bit better, but my experience of So-So Toys, they're pretty good quality anyway. And unless like this is your must-have figure of the year kind of thing, then I'd probably lean towards So-So. But then I don't know if you can still pick that up, or whether it's sold out, or what really. So because it came out a little.
I don't even remember it releasing
4 months ago, I think.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I know we spoke about it when we were pre-order, but I can't remember it coming out.
Yeah, and I think Justin's got a side by side up on his channel if you're interested in seeing what the differences are. But yeah, again, it's really good. But it's a and if you've got a Loki collection like they've got in the middle there, then yeah, it looks cool. But it's obviously a very specific look.
If I said to you that picture in the middle is probably just shy of £2,000 worth of figures,
I know.
It really highlights how expensive things have gone.
Yeah. I know.
Madness. Fucking madness.
Yeah. It is.
But yeah. So that was Marvel. Let's go on to the only other thing Hot Toys seem to make at the moment, Star Wars. There was a heavy weapons clone trooper. I don't have a price for it, but you could get that on its own, or you could get Hot Toys Commander Apo with the bike for $450, or a Bark Speeder and sidecar with a trooper for $450 as well. But you can't get Apo separately, apparently, which is a bit of a strange one.
No. I mean, I kind of glazed over when I looked at this, so I just put this one picture on, and I hoped it just covered all the bases, to be honest.
Pretty much. The bike doesn't have the sidecar, and the two figures are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're going balls deep into the 501st.
So there's that.
And Apo doesn't really look like that either.
Shin pads. Is that?
I think it's Apo's on the. He's on the left.
Yeah.
Apo's the one on the left. I think.
On the sidecar. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just give him a quick Google, because after a while.
See, I would have no idea, mate.
And the problem is, I don't think he looks anything like. Yeah, it's him on the left.
Okay.
And they've made some quite
Lane's
interesting
saying
choices.
that you can't get either of them without the speeder, the Bark speeder. So you've got to lay out some serious cash if you want these.
I mean, to be fair, you get some blue paint and a 501st, away you go. It's considering, and this is a good tip for anyone who wants to customize clone troopers, is Star Wars do a miniature range for a tabletop game called Legion, and they release paint sets, and they have 501st blue and Coruscant red and all of that. So when you see people going, I've made this mix and I've managed to match it, just fucking buy the Legion paint set and you've got everything you need. So it's worth remembering that. Particularly if you want a custom done, some guys, well, it's very, very hard to match the blue. It fucking isn't. It comes straight out of the pot. Like,
you can really buy it now. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot of money, and I don't have a room for a speed bike, and I'm not that bothered about these speed bikes, if I'm honest. So
no, I don't
nice.
particularly like the design, and and I am not this far into Clone Wars yet, so I have got no idea who these people are, or these vehicles. But the clone train keeps chugging along.
It does. It does.
There's people must be buying them. Lane's buying them all. He's keeping them all going.
Thing is, I don't mind them pumping out clones. Just dip out of 501st every now and again, because we have Coruscant guards. We've got
a bit more
Cody.
Different colours, maybe. Yeah,
that would be quite handy. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all right. I mean, it's a lot of money for what it is, and that's the thing. That's the thing I'm struggling with at the moment. Is I look at it and go, $450. Right. Okay. When I bought my DeLorean, that was £700, and I think there's not much in that. And it's just insane. I remember back in the day, I used to say to myself, the most overpaid for a figure was £300 for Chewbacca, and that was back in the day when Chewbacca was insanely hard to get hold of. It came out and everyone went absolutely apeshit for it. That and my Marty, both those cost me £300 a piece, and that was my level. That was it. Wasn't going to go any higher than that. And now standard releases are like £290, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I think the first one I ever paid more than. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I've dropped more than that since, and it's like it's mental.
Oh yeah, I know. Mental. Yeah, like the first one I ever spent over 300 on was the Iron Man Mark 46 diecast. Now, bizarrely, that went twice, 3 times that price at one point. But when I remember when I paid like 320, I was like, fucking hell, that's ridiculous. I always said I'd never go over 300. So yeah. It's,
Thank you very much, Lane. £2. Thank you.
yeah.
So due back.
We will, yeah. Thanks, Lane.
We in or out?
We will get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there, mate.
I'm out,
we'll get
but
there.
we'll get there. Yeah.
If it's $4.50 for these fuckers, I cannot begin to even imagine how much the due back would be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the sideshow one goes for about £700. So, you know, it's gonna
wait until the Hot Toys one gets put for pre-order, and then wait and pick up a sideshow one.
Yeah,
it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So upcoming, we have as though we've gone back to say 2012. We have another Joker. This time, Hot Toys, they are doing it what they are calling the Artisan range. So it looks like, because it looks like watering down the DX range has kind of backfired ever so slightly, because now it's a DX Artisan range instead of a DX that doesn't mean anything. So this is the 3.0 sculpt. So you get sculpted and rooted hair versions, £350 for the normal version, £470 for the rooted, and this is out Q3 to 4 2024. They can get fucked. I can't be bothered with another Ledger Joker. He did a very good job. I like the film. I'm just sick to death. If you typed in, if you went on eBay now and you went 1/6 Ledger Joker, the amount of them on there is there's probably enough in the world for every fucker to have one each. Like, it is absolutely mental how many of this figure.
Yeah.
And it's put me right off of it.
Definitely.
It couldn't do it.
The first thing that I want to say is that it's the first time that I've seen the word artisan used on anything other than a bakery goods, artisan pastries and bread. So they've done well there to pick out that word that's very, very seldom used and give it a refresh. Yeah, I think this is the least surprising release ever. I mean, we've all known this was coming. Even back before the in-art original solicitations, everyone was like, there'll be a 3.0, because I mean, I completely don't get the hype on this. I like the films. I'm not saying they're not great films. I'm a big Nolan fan as well. But yeah, it just didn't grab me like people just got really like insanely obsessed with Ledger and having this definitive version. And I mean, yeah, the hundreds of custom versions and all this sort of thing. And obviously, in-art beat them to the post on this one, and a lot of people, I think most people have got theirs now, and most people seem pretty happy, I think. So Hot Toys is playing catch up, and I suppose even at $4.50, could you buy the in-art rooted on its own, or was it only in the double pack?
Oh, I can't remember now. I believe,
because they tend to put those things behind paywalls, don't they? Yeah. So I suppose they've got a market there in the fact that if you weren't prepared to spend, I don't know what it was, £800, say.
But you got two figures. You could sell one of them, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So at $4.50, I think you could just, and I mean, obviously, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so it
so
does
at the
give
moment
you that.
You can get the 2-pack for £687, and this is 5 for the one. So you might that you wouldn't even get straight away. I'd go in.
Yeah.
If I was going to, and I had that sort of.
If the prices are
money.
coming down, yeah. And obviously there's going to be. I mean, I'm not the person to comment. You'd know more than me, but even you say you're not the. There'll be. I'm sure our buddy Shane at 1/6 Figure Focus will do a full-on, comparison between this and the in-art, and talk about all the individual items and where, because I think people should be careful not to automatically say, "Oh, the in art is better on all," because there's probably bits of this that are better. It's going to happen, and obviously somebody's probably going to, going to pick this up at one day and make their ultimate version where they take the, this from there and this from there. So there will be bits that are better. People are going to argue all day long about what's the better sculpt, what's the better hairing. I'm not going to comment because I'm not close enough to the source material, and I don't have the in art and stuff. But people will cover that. So if that's what you need to kind of, you want that kind of in-depth comparison, then plenty of people will be doing that. But yeah, objectively, it looks good. I can't fault, I can't say that there's anything like, oh, that hair looks rubbish or anything. But again, I think some of the criticisms have been the same as with the in art, that there's just too much hair there. The volume of the hair is a little bit too much. I suppose it's a tricky thing at 1/6 scale, because if you
I like the way they're giving you a removable tongue, which is a weird
so
one.
that's there's some innovation there. Yeah, and there's I saw a slide. It looks like it's like a piece that slides in from the back, so it's the whole mouth. Yeah.
Yes, you don't rub any paint off the lips. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and as long as it's seamless, and then obviously these pictures you can't see any, then that's a different innovation. I think it's good to have the choice. Maybe it would annoy me if this was like my favorite figure, and I felt like I kept having to rebuy it, or think, oh, like I've just forked out for the in art. Are there bits of this that I like more? It would annoy me. So I'm glad that I'm not into it. But I think ultimately, it's good to have options. But it'd be interesting to say. I'm sure it'll still be a massive seller for Hot Toys. Being that in art is still.
Every scale for the last like 7 odd years has just absolutely eked out on Ledger Joker. Like, it's just too much.
Yeah, and if we
much.
have a quick look at the sculpted, I think a lot of people were saying that they prefer the sculpted hair on the Hot Toys to the in art one. So there's going to be bits that people prefer over others. I think even within what is quite a niche hobby, 1/6, in art is still very much probably unknown to a lot of collectors. People know Hot Toys. So I think, although it seems like Hot Toys are a bit late to the game, I think this will still sell massively. It's going to be a big seller for them. I don't think the in art is really going to have much of a dent in sales for these guys.
No, I can't see it happening.
So no. And
so while we're on, while we're on putting hair on those figures, we have the Hot Toys DX Artisan Series Anakin for 415 quid. So this is super duper limited. This is 415 quid out Q3 to Q4 2024. It looks fantastic. It looks really good. But have an Anakin. I'm more than happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm not spending 415 quid. Ain't happening.
No. I like it. The updated sculpt I think is good. Although I'm getting a little bit now. Looking at it now, I'm looking at a little bit of I forget the guy's name. The guy from Son of Rambo that played Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Will something.
Yeah, Will something. Yeah.
Yeah, getting a little bit of that, which I hadn't before. But again, I think the hair looks good. It's going to be another one of those ones where, how are they going to be shipping them? Are they going to be doing similar to the in art with the head sculpt is separate within a sort of plastic cylinder, so there's nothing touching the hair, because otherwise, if they pack these like they would normally, they come out looking pretty bad. Yeah, Ryan says be interested to see if this is leather or pleather.
It will be exactly the same.
Yeah, they've not said anything about real leather. It will be
exactly the same, apart from I think the Saber's USB, and it will just be the same figure, just a different head sculpt.
Yeah,
there's no point in them doing anything else to it.
No. But annoyingly, and I mentioned it on I think Ben's or somewhere, and I've seen other people say the Dooku isn't a light up saber. So you've got a USB Anakin saber, but they've not given you which I think is a bit poor
because it's the same. Price of this. It's exactly the same as the last one.
I know exactly as you say. They've done, and I suppose with they've kind of made a slight change because these USB sabers must have. Instead of having a battery in the arm, they've got a cable coming out of them. So there's a slight change. But
so it'd be wire you tuck up the sleeve.
But they've not bothered to do anything with Dooku's. They've gone. You can just have the same one that you got with the figure.
Use the bullshit light up effect on the picture, but then not actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Bothered to give you.
And it's always that you all know it's not going to do it, but they'll still insist on showing it like that.
Yeah.
So obviously you've always got the CCFL option anyway, which is the best. It's definitely the best option. But yeah, just again, it's a little bit disappointing. And obviously we don't know yet we haven't yet had. I think is it the Kenobi show Obi-Wan is going to be should be the first release with the USB saber. So we don't know.
I think so.
How good they're going to be anyway.
How good they are.
How much better they'll be than the really naff ones that we get already. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this becomes the norm now that we're going to get sort of two versions of anybody that's got a decent amount of hair. How they're going to decide whether they go with like a two options or
I would have been way happier if they just said, say, the episode 2 Anakin was the artisan one. Instead of just doing something they've done before, give us something new. Although that's got the braid and it's shorter hair, it's harder to do. Give us something different. Because I'm just seeing the same stuff I've seen before, and it makes it really hard to get excited about 6 scale at the moment because it's just the same stuff.
Evening, Ben.
The guys who are doing legitimately good, different stuff are people like Iconic, who are going, this license, no, we haven't really had anything from it before, let's put something out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting pretty bored with the same stuff. And I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I will buy all the Star Wars I can get hold of.
Yeah.
But
I did kind of look at this and go, I want this. But I've calmed down a bit, and it's interesting to see that the buy and sell groups are just awash with light side Anakins now. People are like, I need to get rid of this. I need to move this on. Not directly saying I'm ordering this, but you know what they're doing.
100%.
And they're still not cheap.
They still want about 300.
I mean, they're not like,
and I'm like,
they're not like they've suddenly slashed them to 200, and you can get yourself a bargain. They've just dropped them from like 400 to 350 or something like that. And obviously everyone with a dark side's going, I'm going to keep that because they've only shown this light side version kind of thing. But, it's easy enough for them to do a dark side version somewhere along the line and make it even more limited. So
they've done it before. They will literally make it look as though it's been smoking crack for 24 hours straight, and they will slap a bit of red under the eyes. Give it a little bit of a purple highlight and go dark side.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just
the thing is, you could probably spend that 400 quid and just get the one you've got rooted, and it would probably look similar. Albeit that we know
it'd be
the paint's older, but
yeah. I mean, a custom rooted hair done by the right person would look better because obviously they're not doing the volume. It's not. It's more of an art form than a conveyor belt process. But it
just sounds like I'm being overly negative on everything. But Genuinely, it's just because I would have really liked to see something new. I'm getting to the point where I just want to see something new.
Yeah.
Like I quite like
Well,
this.
yeah, they could have given
Spider-Man's
us.
good.
Yeah, they could have given us an episode 2 Obi-Wan with rooted hair.
Yeah.
Although they'd have had the issue with the. Does he have a beard in that one?
In what? Sorry. In 2. Yeah, he looks like fucking Jesus. Yeah. That's his Jesus
so
face.
they'd have an issue with that because they either root the beard and that can be really bad, or they go with sculpted beard, rooted hair, and and then you've got a bit of a mismatch. So, but that's the figure that everyone wants. So yeah, what we got here, the black suit Peter Parker from the upcoming Spider-Man 2 game.
So this will cost you 230 quid for the normal, 260 for the special edition, out Q3, Q4 2024.
It's not bad.
I really like this. This is the one I would get, which is what I was saying the other week about black suits is going to be the way to go.
Yeah.
This is because everyone wants a comic accurate one, and this, barring the legs on the back, this is probably about as comic accurate as you're going to get, and I really like it.
Yeah,
really like it.
Yeah, the symbiote suit. It's all nice and like glossy and wet looking, and actually, although I've never really been a fan of the metal legs on any of the ones so far, but this one looks good. I quite like it with the. Because they're just huge, and the fact they're just silver, and that I don't know, they just stand out. I quite like them. Not that I display it like that necessarily, but I think it's quite a good look.
All right, John.
Hey, John.
Yeah,
nice to see you.
It does look good. Does look really good. And the thing is, as soon as they announced the normal version, I was like, black suit's coming, because at that point we'd already seen the trailer. He'd already had it on in the trailer, and I was like, yep, black suit's coming. And it wouldn't surprise me because they just showed pictures of the Venom as well from the game. If we get a Venom, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Definitely.
If they did do a Venom from the game, I would be very tempted to jump back into the Spider-Man and get this. And
there we go.
Venom.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'd be very tempted. Not that I would actually put my hand in my pocket because I'm a tight bastard, but.
Or is it a PS5 exclusive? I can't remember.
It's a PS5 exclusive for the time being, and then it will end up on PC, and that's when I pick it up on my Steam Deck. Or I sell a load of this shite behind me, and I get a PS5 and I play it.
You buy a PS5.
Is one of the things.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing now. You can sell like 2 figures, and okay, I've now got a shit ton of money. I could just go and buy it. So, bottom shelf is the one that's always in danger. So I could do that. But yeah, very much like this. And then while we're on the Marvel train, we have the suit up, and I've sneakily grabbed the price because it wasn't there when we did it. So this is 350 quid. It is out Q3 to Q4 2024. I like and don't like the sculpt all at once. I look at it in some angles and go, fuck me, that looks good. Then I look at it in others and go, oh, that looks like someone has gone, I wonder what it would look like if Christopher Walken had a child with Vincent Price. And now I know that is exactly what it would look like.
I was thinking a bit like what would happen if Tony got stung by bees and went into anaphylactic shock on some of them.
It kind of looks
not a
like
fan of the sculpt.
It looks like Tony Stark has got to the age of mid-60s to early 70s, and he's still dyeing his hair. Like it looks kind of like that, like a millionaire playboy who's still holding on to his youth and had a bit of surgery done. I know.
It's
weird.
It's very weird. Yeah, that bad plastic surgery look.
Yeah,
I'm not really a massive fan of these suit up things. I mean, from a technological point of view, they're really clever and everything, but this sort of weird stuff where you kind of like it's half on him and all that kind of thing. It's probably a lot of hard work to get them, posed up well as well. And I don't know, these are fragile things, and if you're doing a lot of moving the parts about and everything, I'd be a bit concerned.
It looks its best where he's like jumping, and it's clipping onto the back of him. But that would be such a bastard to display it like that I don't.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only
exactly.
way I think it looks any good.
So it's like that's the whole thing about they've done it because they can, but they haven't stopped to say whether they should or not.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
It's not. Yeah,
For 350
Not
quid,
for me.
that no, not for me either. Not for me.
no.
This next tease though, it's the Joker. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I quite like this.
yeah,
This
we-
Joker
we
actually looks
forget.
pretty good.
Yeah,
So this is Tough
Does,
Guys the Comedian, 205 quid at Q1 2024. Quite like this. Looks pretty good. Although realistically, you're only going to ever have him. The problem with putting those steps in is if you have him just standing on them, it looks fucking boring. You kind of want him doing that weird dance down there.
Yeah.
Because they've given him the pissed off looking head. You kind of can't do that. The rooted hair looks good, but it'd be interesting to see if it comes out like that. But on the whole, it looks
yeah, I think
pretty good. No complaints.
Yeah, and it does look good, and I feel like we've had a million of these as well, customs and outfits and stuff like this. But I do objectively think this looks good. I do like the sculpt from the picture on the right there. So it's
the only thing
strong
when I look at these a lot of the time is that they haven't caught how skinny he is. None of them have. Even Toys Here, none of them have, because they use generic bodies. And they've had to make the head sculpt look as though they've taken a picture of him as he is now, quite well fed. He doesn't look malnourished. In the Joker, he's a skinny fucker. Like he's skinny as fuck and there's nothing to him. And all the figures I've seen all look a bit too beefy. That's my only ever complaint with most of them. Is he looks too.
Yeah.
He doesn't look as though he was ever a downtrodden man. He looks as though at some point he's going to stove your fucking head in. Which isn't kind of the point.
And I suppose with 3 or 4 layers of clothing as well, it's kind of difficult to capture that skinniness at this scale possibly as well. But the underlying body has a part to play. But obviously, if he's got a shirt, a waistcoat. But yeah, I think it looks as good as any of the other ones. Although Trevor's saying it will never look like this, and that's probably
it won't really. You can tell.
The only experience I've got with this brand is I've got the Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was for the money, like 150 quid. It's really good, and the outfit and everything is fantastic. The head sculpt is okay, and the hairing and stuff on it, is passable. So I think this would be the same. That from the neck down, the tailoring and stuff is going to be really good. But it depends, how that head sculpt and the hair turns out. Obviously, for this one, so they're not awful from my experience of them. But you might want to wait and see what it turns out like. When's have you found it? Did we have a date for when this is due out? Or?
We do. It Q1 2024, so beginning of next year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe wait on it and see how it turns out. Could be brilliant. Could be so.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So let's have a look at some of these teasers that we've seen. So we've got Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
This looks pretty good. I think this was always going to be on the cards from the moment he stepped out with his Bando armor. This is probably the definitive Gideon. I'd go for this, depending on price. But it looks, from what we've seen so far, it looks pretty good. I've seen some people do some pretty good customs, to be fair. But
okay,
this was always going to happen.
Yeah, I
it was
do.
Never not.
Yeah, it was always going to happen. Yeah. If anything, you could probably argue that the whole reason for this scene was to sell figures. Not just at this scale, but at the Black Series and the 3.75 and Hot Toys. So we knew it was coming, and I quite like. A lot of people. Some people said they didn't like it. I thought it looked cool. He maybe wasn't quite as good with it as we thought, and obviously it was a bit short lived. But I think from an aesthetic point of view, it looked really good. and obviously they're going to bring out the troopers as well, because we've already got the backpack, the jetpack, and one of these weapons from them coming with that IG-12 is he now with Grogu in with the accessory pack. So I think we're going to see the troopers as well. So you know, him with a couple of them behind him, like with the whole Vader thing with 2 troopers, is going to look really good. But that's that's £1,000 outlay right there for 3 figures, pretty much. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and obviously the other debate is whether or not it'll come with a head sculpt, because probably not. But then, you know, I don't know. I thought the first one was okay, but you do, yeah? You think it'll definitely come with that head sculpt?
Definitely. They just reuse the old one. They just get that, you know.
Oh, definitely. If we get one, it'll be the exact same one.
He will be the Doc Brown of Star Wars, and we will just get the same sculpt. 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But then they did do a different sculpt for Part 3, didn't they? The Doc, but
yeah, they didn't have a lot of choice there because the big gap. So
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really have a lot of choice.
And they no.
Yeah. So that was Gideon. Ahsoka. We're going to get figures. I don't think they even needed to tease this. This was they're always going to. And it will probably be the same figures we've had from Mando, just with slightly updated clothing, I would imagine, because it'd be silly of them not to.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be good if they tweaked the sculpt a bit, because I think it was okay, but it wasn't bang on. It'd be nice if they did, because these are going to be quite some way off, aren't they? You know, they've only just teased here. They've got time. They've got time to work on the sculpt a bit and make it so that people that have got the Book of Boba or Mandalorian version want to upgrade, or you know, and I guess we'll get a Thrawn, won't we? And hopefully we'll get a Ray Stevenson figure.
I want a Thrawn.
He passed away recently.
Definitely take Thrawn.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's definitely going to make that. Yeah. And that'll probably be quite a sought after one, because people will want it for the outfit and, you know, to do custom figures and stuff like that. So that'll be
one that gets sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, and I assume there'll probably be the Rebels. There's a couple of Rebels characters, aren't there, that are going to be in it. The Twi'lek. I don't know the names, but you probably know them. Yeah.
Helena. Helena or Hela, one or the other. Yeah, there's a few in there.
So I think they're going to be really popular for you know, for Rebels fans, and obviously then they're going to want to get. I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? Because they are going to be the live action versions, and you're not going to get the other figures, or if you did, they'd be animated versions. Although, you know, where they can, Hot Toys have gone with a realistic head, but obviously if those characters have never been played in live action, then they can't do that really.
Well, to be fair, you've had one of them pops up in Mando already. So you probably got 3 of them already that have been in live action. 4 actually, including the droid. So there was a hologram of Ezra. So you'd only really need Kanan, and they're guaranteed to be a flashback or something. And then you realistically, that's their little window into how you could do them all. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But
definitely.
You know, if it opens the door, then that's nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm looking forward to seeing what they solicit, and I'm looking forward to the show as well. It's next month, isn't it? Or we're almost there in August, so
nearly there.
I don't know what the exact date is, but I'm looking.
That's
forward
fucking
to it.
depressing, isn't it? It's almost August already.
I know.
I don't know where this year's going.
Yeah.
They all have apart from Caleb. So, and then we had. So first of all, they teased figures from Prey.
Yeah, up until today, that's all we had, and then. boom, we've got a picture.
Yeah, looks really good, like really insanely good. I very much like the look of this. I mean, I'm not going to buy it because that just opens the door again to all the different predators.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think it looks good. It'd be a shame. I mean, I'm not. I've said it, I'm not a massive fan of this look. I enjoyed the film, but for me, I'm not a massive fan of the Predator look, so I wouldn't buy it. But I would be nice to see the girl, the main. I forget her name. But because I think that would be a really. I know, but it's a shame because you want something to go with it. Unless you're a Predator collector and you just want all the Predators, it needs a companion piece, and she'd be really cool because it's another female character which we get more of now, but it would be it'd be quite a small figure because she's very I don't know what she was. She's probably only like a teenager or something in the film, and she'd come with all the cool outfit and all the weapons and everything. So I think that'd be a great figure to have. And it's a shame if it's just this. I think that'd be silly of them, but because you're really only appealing to Predator collectors, aren't you? Because otherwise, he becomes that curse of the one figure that is always on the chopping block because they kind of don't really fit in.
You can't pair it with anything
with the rest of you. With the rest of your collection. So Mid Thunder, her name is. So I'd like to see that. But I say, as you said, it looks good. Yeah, and the dog as well. Although if it comes out looking like anything like Einstein, that's probably not a good move.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But, I wouldn't want a Hot Toy.
The
they end up looking more like the dogs from the Thing than anything else.
But it's an Alsatian, isn't it, or a derivation of so. There are already some really good 1/6 scale Alsatians from I forget who makes there's a someone that makes all the dogs. There's a company that makes dogs in there. That's it. And I'm sure they've done a really good Alsatian. So actually, that would be good to if they did bring her out without the dog. You're probably better off getting one of those than hoping that Hot Toys make a dog that looks like a dog and isn't a melted candle.
Mr. Z.
Yeah, Mr. Z. That's it.
Mr.
Yeah. So so I hope that they I see Mid Thunder's the actor Naru. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Yeah. So I hope they bring her out, and I'd be more interested in this if they brought out a companion piece to go with it. Definitely.
Yeah. So that was Predator. Our good friends Iconic. Now they've come to the rescue again.
Big news for them this week.
Highlander, they've got the license. That's going to be interesting. I've not seen it. I've seen some fairly janky customs. I've seen the old Sideshow ones, which go for a pretty penny. But yeah, these are, and having had the Patrick Bateman, all the confidence in the world with these ones. And this is what I was talking about before. Something new, something interesting. Like this is what I'm liking. Yes, the Spanish Peacock would be good. That would be good. And then they've got Chun-Li and Akuma. They've also shown those that they're coming soon. Loving these guys.
Yeah, so it's good week.
Really
so I think Akuma. Yeah, Akuma was always a guarantee because obviously I assume I apologize, Andy, if I'm speaking out of turn, but I assume it's the same body as Ryu and Ken, so that would be a natural reuse of that body.
See, I don't think
Akuma.
It is.
You don't know?
No, I think it's different. I think it's
hopefully Andy's watching and he'll chime in. But so that's cool. Chun-Li, I'm definitely interested in. I think she could be fantastic. I was having a chat with Andy and I said, I'm itching for something. I want to buy an Iconic, but he's not hit, the marks yet for me. And I said, as amazing as Ryu and Ken are, was never that interested in them. I like the more crazy. You know, I want Zangief. I'd buy Zangief in a heartbeat if he brought Zangief out. That motherfucker would be huge. And I'd buy Eddie Honda. I'd buy Blanca. I'd be in for Chun-Li. You know, all the sort of more crazy looking ones. So I'm very interested to look at the Chun-Li one. And people are saying, is she going to have her own specific body? Because obviously she's got like massive thighs. That's part of her look, which isn't necessarily replicated in other figures like Cammy and things like that. So, you know, will they go with like a generic female body, or are they going to go all out and go, this is Chun-Li?
I don't think they will. I think looking at everything else they've done, they go all in. I can't see Andy using a generic body.
I think so.
Cannot see it.
Not a generic body, one that they've worked on for the Street Fighter line, but that you know, that they're going to go with a Chun-Li body and then a Cammy body. You know, when they go.
Oh yeah, no, I hope so. I would put money on this being a Chun-Li body. That they do it for Chun-Li. She's that iconic. From what, yeah. From what and everything we've seen,
Andy and his love for the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I think it's going to look fantastic either way. But yeah, the Highlander. I think, you know, they've shown that they can do a nice trench coat with Patrick Bateman. So Connor, you know, obviously we assume it'd be interesting. I mean, I assume that probably the first solicitation will be him in his like his 80s gear with the you know, with the trench coat and the trainers and the jeans and stuff. It'd be cool if they did the you know, the Scottish I don't know when it's 1600s or whatever it's, whenever that's set, you know, the that version would be cool. The Kurgan is a definite. Not sure about Sean. I just think that I know that Andy's talked in the past about it's difficult when an actor's passed away, you know, because you're not dealing directly with them. You've got to deal with their estate and stuff like that. So it'd be great to see, obviously, Sean Connery, but I don't know where their estate stands on stuff for him. He's never had a licensed figure. Well, yeah, Sideshow would have had the
Sideshow
the
and
license for Last Crusade, but
Big Chief for the Bond films, the Bond figures they did. They were licensed.
For the Bond ones, yeah, Bond probably lives. He probably doesn't own the rights to that, but anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think definitely Connor's going to be, you know, the first solicitation, and maybe the Kurgan. Yeah, Gil would be good. Gil, however you say it, with that flat top.
See, I'd like to see a Street
I'm glad
Fighter
to see
film
that
range. That would be good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, with Van Damme and Kylie.
Van Damme.
Yeah, we could just get some like swap out. Yeah, and
then that way. Then that way you could put your Fennec head on this Chun-Li, and you've got the
Bison.
You've got the film version.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see that we've, you know, that the sales for Rhea and Ken have been strong, and that we're now moving into like the second phase of the Street Fighter line, and hopefully it will carry on strongly. And I say I may well be in for a Chun-Li. Own my first piece of iconic.
Yeah. So this next one,
I chucked this in. It's not on the sheet, but it's a bit of you. This isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, I will 100%. If they release this, be getting this. Everyone needs a Biff Tannen. As you can see, I liked it as well.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yep. There's nothing else I can say.
There was a better shot, but I couldn't find it for love of money.
There's the one where they were holding the full
outfit in it. That's
It
it.
was the grey
And I couldn't
prom. What he
find it
wore.
again,
What he wore to
so-
the prom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
I want
Yeah,
this.
I wanted that picture. I couldn't find it. That looked better than these, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that's cool. You know,
Yeah.
and Hot Toys are never going to
I want this.
touch this character.
No.
So yeah, definitely,
No.
definitely, they're filling
This
the
will-
gaps.
this will definitely be one.
Yeah, and obviously
They do
we
a
know,
George,
you know,
a
Master
George
Droids
as well.
are-
That would be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, they
George,
have to
George
have
and
rooted
Lorraine.
hair, so it
would
was
be
all
good.
flopping, and you could keep
Yeah,
flicking it back
that's
over his head.
Well, what you do is you get
But,
is they
no,
do a
it's-
Back to the Future George McFly that you just hang upside down with a really crap rubber mask on. Would be good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be
make
good.
Sure you get, yeah, they did. Make sure you get the.
Yeah, but
first
then they've
batch.
turned around
Well,
and
yeah,
they've said
they-
that they're doing new coats and stuff,
they-
aren't they? And you just pay the shipping.
They have.
So at
Yeah,
least
they
they've
have.
recognised that there was
Yeah.
something up there.
Yeah, and
So-
there was discussions that I was having, I think, on Ben's show that, you know, it wasn't maybe necessarily a choice by them. It might have been something the warehouse did without them knowing, or something like that. You know, it seems weird that they would have such
Yeah.
high praises for a first batch and then just go, actually, let's send out something a bit shitty to save us a few dollars. I find it hard to believe that it would be.
Yeah, it just
an
seems a
actual,
bit weird.
you know, decision by the company. Yeah.
To be fair, it's happened once.
Yeah, Mad
so
Dog
let's
Talent.
see if it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Dog
Yeah.
would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
definitely.
good.
Yeah, and I hope
good.
whatever version he comes a little pile of manure.
Yeah.
So we all know he hates manure.
Well, what they should do is the box should just be the back of the manure truck. Just have that.
Yeah,
So that he comes in.
yeah. And then there'll be,
That
and
would be
then and then just a little packet of compost comes with him, and you can
Yeah,
just sprinkle
Exactly.
it over him.
Yeah. Instead of the little bag of silicon, you
Brilliant.
just get that a little bag of shit.
Yeah, a little
Exactly.
bag of compost. Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
exactly. Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
So
cool.
yeah,
Right.
needless to tell, I'm grabbing that. And then we had Showcase, the Sideshow Showcase. So
Yeah.
these are the, what do they call them? Exiles, isn't it? Is it Mando Exiles? I can't remember what
Yeah.
they called them. Something like that.
Something like that. I'm just so not.
This is
not bothered by them.
effectively what happens when you have loads of Mando parts in your parts drawer and you chuck them on a figure.
Yeah, I'm sure
they
you've
look
made
good.
these guys at some point. You know.
Sure, everyone who throughout the years has either 3D printed or has an abundance
Yeah.
of Sideshow fucking Mando parts, or Sideshow not Mando, Django and Boba parts have done this at some point.
Yeah.
Convert, that's it. So yeah, I mean look, they look fine. They look good, but I'm probably not gonna go for it.
Yeah.
They look a bit too
No.
clean.
The issue I have with
That's the bit that's
yeah,
throwing
and
me off.
also they're just background fodder, and I've made sort of custom-ish figures out of bits and pieces, and for me, I kind of there's a point where I go, yeah, they look alright, and then I'm like, it's not really a character. I mean, we don't know, we
Yeah.
saw these in the background and stuff, but
Yeah.
they're not a character. They're just background, and again, they're always the ones that you go, well, I've got no connection to that character, and
And the thing is,
I think we'll
when
see
people
a lot of these on the secondary market pretty quick.
when people
Like the
do
armor.
this in the smaller scale
Mhm.
and they do it with like Hasbro stuff and things like that, you can army build, you can build little
Yeah.
scenes, and for the cost of
Yeah,
like a couple of hundred
because
quid,
they're
you've got a
affordable.
complete scene. Yep, they're
Yeah.
affordable. You've got
Yep,
a complete scene.
Correct.
You're doing this at 6 scale. You're looking at
Yeah.
laying down 2-3 grand, and I don't know a lot
Yeah.
of people that do that. Really, they
Most
might
of
have a
us
bit of a
don't have
diode,
that
but there's 2 or 3
kind of
figures
that.
in there. But yeah. Who would you pair these
Yeah.
with? What would you do?
Yeah.
Would you
So-
stick them with Mando or the Armorer?
so-
What would you do with them?
Do you think these will actually get released?
Yeah, because it's Hot Toys and it's part
do.
reusage. They will, 100%.
Yeah.
Although it surprises me because they've had to make the duster and stuff that they're wearing and bits like that. But most of it is just reused
Yeah.
parts. So yeah, I think they will chuck it out. And then, and then this would be like the first order stormtroopers, where Give it 5 years, and you'll pick it up for like £100.
Oh yeah, yeah. People will pick these up, and then they'll pare down their collections, and we'll see a lot of these out and about on the secondary market probably for bargain bin prices. Yeah. So I'm not
100%.
impressed by them. I just I've just yeah.
Hmm.
And then we've got a couple of life size. We've got the Arzelian, something like that. Who was Bubba Frick in the Rise of Skywalker, and the Grogu, who looks very sinister looking. He looks like
He does. He looks like the
he's
Emperor.
He's in a Palpatine there, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Grogu-ized Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean, they both look good. I like them. I wouldn't know where to put a life-size Grogu or weird little, weird little racist man, whatever his name is. Yeah,
yes.
But objectively, they look all right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and obviously that they're showing that pram off, which is going to be make that a pretty big.
Fucking massive. It won't fit in the display case.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, definitely. It's going to have to. It definitely be something you have kind of like freestanding, like a little pole or something to, so he's floating. But yeah, they look good. But he's quite scary looking. He's very intense. He's going to fuck you up, man.
He looks like he's taking a shit in the pram.
Well, could be that as well.
He's kind of going.
And then there'll be a little smirk just after that. You're clearing that up, Mando.
Yeah. He's like a cat. He just maintains eye contact at all times. Clean that up, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you feel really uncomfortable. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. R5 and the armorer. The armorer I'm not interested in. We've had that. Don't need another one.
Yeah.
R5. I'm pretty sure. Did R5 already come out yet, or has it not come out?
No, it's not out yet. No, so he's with that set with the pit droid and the whatever the other little thing is. Is it?
It's a very clean R5.
Yeah. So obviously this is the one from the episode where he kind of gets attacked by the mouse droid. So it's going to be a little bit cheaper than buying that 3-pack droids 3-pack, but obviously that's going to be the first one that comes out, and I think people will be parting those out.
I think so.
So yeah, because people,
I mean,
there's people
good.
that are going to want. Yeah, it does. It does look good. Yeah, and again, like Sideshow did this years ago, and it was fetching quite big prices until and obviously it'd be good to have the Hot Toys ones, which are going to be slightly bigger because along with the R2, they're slightly better scaled. But I know that people have complained that why would you have one pit droid? So I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to collect the pit droids. If people are parting these out, so there might be some. Yeah, so it might be that you can pick up an R5 that's been parted out a bit sooner. Because this guy's probably going to be, going by what R2, the latest R2, you're looking at 250.
250, yeah.
So
that armor.
And the armor
is
yeah. Is it slightly different?
It's exactly the same. The costume doesn't change.
Exactly
the same.
Okay, no.
May have made it slightly shinier. They've given it a buff. Mm-hmm. That's it. Given it a buff.
Yeah. It's just lazy.
Bullshit.
Right, here we are, Lane.
These two. Here we are. Here we are. These two are good.
Yeah.
The Dewback and the Death Star colour. I like these.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't buy them because they're going to be expensive, but they are good.
Yeah, I know, and and I will say that these are my favourite things just because they're original trilogy, A New Hope. Doesn't get any better than that for me. The Death Star Trooper is a weird one because this figure was listed for about 7 years ago, and
they keep wheeling it out.
And it looks like it's no different. It's that same figure. Inaccuracies and all. People have always wanted this figure. I think for a couple of reasons. It's it's another A New Hope figure. They did the Death Star gunner, which was a bit of a weird one, and that goes for ridiculous money. The one with the helmet and the sort of the chest pad. And also, he's the Death Star Trooper is one of the original 12 back 3.75 Kenner releases. So there's always a little bit of that people want to collect those original 12, albeit that they had him in the Kenner figure had him in the grey outfit. But it's a very iconic helmet. It's huge, and this one probably is not big enough, because when you look at pictures, it's a bit like the what they parodied with Dark Helmet on the Spaceballs.
Yeah.
It flares out almost to their shoulders. They vary helmet to helmet, but yeah. So and the sculpt is like, it's just a generic sculpt, isn't it? And it's very dated, as Badfish says. It's almost like it's like a bit like Ryan Gosling or something like that, but a 7-year-old
they've just wheeled out the
sculpt.
same old shite, haven't they?
Yeah. So the new bit we've seen is this all around control deck it's like the one from the prisoner detention block. It's massive, and it's unclear whether you get the whole lot or you get 2 sections of it or 3 sections of it. And this pole going up behind his back goes up a fair bit more, and that's got 3 arms that come out with the cameras on with the 6 the blue. So it's huge in height, and to be honest, they look a bit weird because obviously they're attached to the walls that go around that area. They're not on a pole coming up from the middle of the. So I kind of see what they're doing, but it doesn't look good to me. It's not a a screen accurate kind of representation of where those there were. And then the dewback. Yeah, I'm a bit. The sideshow one has always intrigued me, but I would never pay the money. The same with the Tauntaun, and I kind of went the same route with the dewback as I did with the Tauntaun. I picked up an old Hasbro one, and I just repainted it, and I redid all the reins and the saddle and everything in leather, and put a Hot Toys Sand Trooper on top. It's not as big as this, so. But then that gives you an advantage because I can actually display it on top of my billy, whereas this thing is massive,
huge.
In terms of height and length. I find this fur stuff very weird on the top. I don't know if it's meant to be.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
And
being
you see
on there.
No, and when you look at the screenshot, like the iconic screenshot of that, it does have a little bit. But it's almost like, I don't know, it's like a mane, isn't it? Because it's different to the carpeted stuff you've got on the saddle, which is fine. I don't mind that. But it looks a bit odd. And people are saying that, this is it's more special edition. And that's to do like with the smaller sort of more dinosaur chicken feet and stuff. So I'm quite happy with the Hasbro that I picked up for 40 quid. Did a repaint. It's in some ways possibly more, more like the original puppet or whatever it was, and it's a little bit smaller, so I can actually fit it in. And it's funny because when I first saw it, I didn't think it was Hot Toys because I thought that trooper looks really shit. And I think it's probably more down to the fact that just the way they've posed him on that saddle. And possibly it's maybe just a little. It's all right when you've got a real person like sitting on a rig or whatever, because there's a lot more articulation in a human, even with that suit on. But possibly, the body of this thing is so big that you can't get a decent pose with the legs.
Looks painful.
So I was like, oh, this is sideshow. Yeah. It looks awful. And then when I saw it's Hot Toys, I was a bit like, oh, okay. So that, if that's the exact same mold as the Sand Trooper, but obviously with the white portion and stuff, then it should be a cracking figure, because that's one of Hot Toys' probably their best trooper, the Sand Trooper. It's a fantastic figure. So I think that's not doing it justice, the way it's posed. And I think, yeah, JP says the Death Star Trooper looks like Shane, does it a little bit?
It's like Shane. It does a bit.
He would have a beanie hat on, though, not that
he?
helmet. So yeah, and whether or not they'll release this trooper on his own would be interesting, because that's the one everyone wants, because that's the one that's in the looks droids scene, with the white pauldron and stuff. So it'd be good if they release him on his own, rather than putting him behind this, £1,000 paywall that is the dewback. Yeah. So it's interesting to see, but I'm certainly not. I would be interested in the Death Star Trooper if he came on his own, or you weren't actually getting this full thing, because again, that pushes the price up massively.
Yeah.
With that big diorama base, and I wouldn't.
And it's a lot.
I wouldn't have anywhere.
It's a massive dio for a nothing character.
Yeah, exactly. A generic character
Star
not
Wars,
even going to be
like,
based. Yeah, the sculpt's not based on any of the actors or anything. It's just another. So, yes, it's a difficult. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't be paying £350 for this because it comes with this dio. No way. But anyway, it's nice to see some New Hope stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll wait and see if these actually go up for pre-order, because the trooper never has, and who's to say he ever will? But yeah,
yeah.
And then we can fly through the next ones because they're Marvel, and we're kind of very much done with Marvel. We've got the stuff from Ant-Man Quantumania, and we've got the Guardians. I just liked it because I love that MODOK. I think it's great that they've done him.
I think it's the only time where the figure looks better than the CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it looks, yeah. Like, he doesn't look like doesn't look like dog shit there. Looks pretty good.
No,
so, yeah, well done.
Yeah, I think. I love it. It's almost like, could I justify just picking it up, because I just want to see, Hot Toys, like the detail and the paintwork in effectively what is probably a half scale, maybe even more, bigger than half scale head. It's just something that you'll never ever see again.
Yeah, you're never going to see.
It is terrifying. It is terrifying, and it does come with the mask. But I mean, I'd be ashamed to hide this beautiful face sculpt behind the mask. So I hope they make it. I hope they do make it, because I love it. I just love the craziness of MODOK. And obviously we've got the full set of Guardians. We can see Mantis and Drax here, which they haven't gone up for pre-order yet. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get the Drax. Who knows whether he's got a sculpted body underneath with his tattoos, or whether it's just a generic. Probably not.
Generic,
but yeah, definitely. But yeah, they're coming. So if you want your Guardians set, I think you can be rest assured you're going to get all these guys here.
After watching the film the other day, it's such a weird choice to have Rocket and Cosmo together.
Yeah, definitely.
I literally thought, after not seeing the film and then seeing the figures, I was like, oh, they must have quite a lot to do with each other. They have next to fuck all to do with each other throughout the entire film, and I'm like, what a weird choice.
It's almost like actually whatever the next iteration of the Guardians coming, she'll have a bigger role, but in the terms of this film, not really. It's more like for of comic effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously we've got Kang. I kind of haven't really discussed it with them because I'm not really that bothered, but it'd be interesting to know whether this figure gets released. I don't know where we are with the accusations against him and all that stuff yet.
I don't know.
But obviously, Hot Toys, they don't feel like a company that wants to, dabble with politics and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see whether if he gets found guilty of whatever he's been accused of, whether they would pull this figure on the grounds of morality, or whether they just be like, well, we're representing his character in that movie. I don't know. It'd be an interesting one, because I don't know that we've been in that situation. They've never released a Kevin Spacey figure, or I mean, Ezra Miller's an interesting one, because obviously there are figures of him, but then I don't know enough about any of them, to be honest. I don't think that the things to do with Ezra Miller may be quite as serious as
I don't know. I've not really looked into it, if I'm honest.
No,
because I don't really care about the character. I don't really have any interest in the actor.
No, I don't.
So
I don't either.
Yeah.
But yeah, be interesting. I think that there's arguments either way. Censorship probably isn't the right thing if you just detach the fact that you're buying it because it was Kang in that movie, and not because it's people can make their own choice on that. So and then this popped up today. There's been better pictures, but I thought I they kept popping up, and I thought I'll just go with this. The fact that there was a little tabletop display here with the figures we've seen, but it's the first sort of front-on look at the Moff Gideon Mando suit with the red Praetorian guards behind him. The younger Flash with the repurposed Batman Returns resprayed suit from the Flash movie with the separate head sculpt,
the longer hair,
and also the the longer hair. Yep, and it's quite cool. It's got like a neck piece as well, which is quite nice. So it'll fit better. I think when quite often when you've got a suited figure like that and you've got to swap out a head, there's sometimes a little bit of difficulty about how you smoothly make that look like it's that's interesting. And also the couple of John Wick figures that they teased, John Wick and Kane, I think he's called. I've not seen the movie, so I don't know.
No, I've not.
But we've not seen anything since they listed that they teased that picture without the head sculpt. So I think it's the first time we've seen them. So it's good. It's interesting to see that they look like they're coming. So what do you think of the guards? I mean, we had them with the releases of those for the Last Jedi, wasn't it? And
they were different.
I'm not sure
the armor was different on those. But I think if you had, I really like these in Mandalorian. I think if you had all three, you've kind of got to have all three, or nothing really. If you just had one, it would be weird. So having all three as
this is always the problem. It's like the same thing with the Royal Guard for the Emperor. Everyone's like, well, you've got to have two, and it instantly massively increases the layout of you thinking that that's the display you want. And it's
because the problem is everyone has that picture in their head. Everyone has that picture in their head of the Emperor and the two guards behind the chair, which isn't where they stand. Like they never stood there.
No, it's not. They're about 20 feet either side of him.
It's almost an iconic thing that people just have in their head. Like,
and it looks good, even if it's even if it's fabricated, it does look good, and particularly when you've got nice contrast of colours. You've got a black, and then you've got the bright red. In the same way that the Emperor and the Royal Guards work. And if you then had a couple of the white, like troopers as well, red, black, and white. It's a good combo. So I think we will be seeing them as well. But three of these guys, that's some big money with Moff as well.
Big
again, £1,000 at least there. So, but it's good to see these. The John Wick. I know a lot of people are excited about those. I think I put another picture. So there's Wick and Kane, and the little picture of like the weapons and stuff that John Wick comes with: nunchucks, a couple of guns, a katana, an axe.
That's look good. They do
Yeah,
look very,
yeah,
very
yeah,
good.
yeah. And people will be happy about seeing them again. Yeah, another shot of the Flash in the Batman Returns suit with the long head sculpt with the neck piece. So it looks quite good. And then we're finally seeing the Spider-Man 2099 with the fabric rubber suit, whatever they've gone with.
Looks so much better.
It definitely much better.
Mm.
Yeah. So it was good to see, because I think that, like, originally, like a couple of days ago, it was the old version with the joints and everything, and it, people say, well, why haven't they done? But yeah, we see it now, and it definitely to me it looks 100 times better.
Oh, miles better. Miles better.
Yeah, so that's good to. So yeah, and it looks like a pretty decent figure, to be honest. He's got some major, like, bulk in his upper body, isn't he? Looks good.
Mm.
And then yeah, just this one was, and again, it's not really anything that I'm interested in, but Lost Boys, the Kiefer Sutherland vampire figure.
See, I like this. I know it won't look anything like this because it's Sideshow. And,
unfortunately, yeah, exactly.
What would I
they're
end
not
up
gonna bring
putting
out
it with?
David or
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it comes with the two heads, the sort of the human head and the vampire head. But again, it's just an odd one, isn't it? It's like when they brought out the Dude, Big Lebowski. They do these funny sort of one-offs, and sometimes they're quite good. But again, like, who are you going to pair them up with? They need somebody to go with. Right, you could go, oh, I've got I've got a vampire collection or something like that, but that's unlikely that that's what someone's going to collect. So yeah, interesting, but again, a bit of an oddity. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff to look at and talk about. But as I say, as we said, thankfully, I think there's nothing barring that Death Star Trooper, and it would only be if they released him as a standalone. There's not really anything that I'm too bothered about, so that's good for my
me neither.
For my wallet.
Yeah, same as. So our dear friends over at Iconic, Mr. Andy, put this statement out today, just reiterating their promise about not reissuing figures. And I think this came about because someone was gobbing off in some of the forums around a possible reissue of Bateman and Ryu, I think. Ryu.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm happy to read the statement if you want. Promise from Iconic. We've been directly contacted by a few customers asking about the numbers we produce, reissues for each item. We want to give you a very clear insight into what we plan to do going forward. Pre-order information. We produce our collectibles based on demand, which is calculated from the amount that customers, retailers, and distributors order from us. This means that as long as you order during the pre-order window, everyone should be able to get their hands on our collectibles with ease, via us directly or from our retail partners. However, once the figure is sold out, no more will be produced regardless of demand. Pre-order windows are advised in our social media posts and via our website for all releases, so to ensure you can purchase a figure, you will need to order it during the pre-order window. No reissues, single issue promise. As collectors ourselves, we understand the importance of making sure that your collectibles maintain their status and that constant reissues can sometimes undermine that. We want to confirm that Iconic Studios will not reissue any releases. If we produce the same character again, then it will have a significant enough change in appearance to warrant producing another one, and only if the demand for an alternate version is there. There will always be some common parts or items to be shared over the production of a collectible line. However, we want to make it very clear that we will not outright reissue existing figures. This is a promise we make to you all, and hopefully this helps explain the approach we are taking with collectibles. As we have said, we too are collectors. This is a market we have all been in for a while, so we understand what collecting means to us all. So yeah, and that's exactly what Andy said whenever he's been on the show, that they won't reissue. If they bring out another Ryu, it will be from another game. It'll be him with his beard or whatever. There's different looks. It won't look anything like the version they've brought out already. And the reuse, they've reused the body already from Ryu to Ken, but that's not a reissue. it's you know, they're the same model in in the game. So yeah, I would, you know, we're, you know, Andy's a personal friend of ours and the show, and you know, I would have every faith that everything here is exactly as they've said, and you don't need to worry. It just means that oh, okay, it wasn't part of the issue that they reopened. Well, the window for Ken that closed back in May. Yeah, I don't personally have a problem with that. It's not reissuing. The figure's not out yet. If they deem that the pre-order demand is enough to reopen the window, I don't see that as the same issue.
I don't think that's any different than extending pre-order windows. Like, it's not a.
No,
I don't think that's a problem. You know, if
No.
if they close the pre-order window and the figure's not out yet, and they're getting constantly bombarded with, oh
Yeah,
shit, I
why
want to pre-order, I
wouldn't
want to pre-order.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I think it's different.
As a business, you'd
completely
be
different. If yeah, it's completely different
once
if
the
you
figure's out.
release the figure and then you go, oh, well, now we're going to do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
People
I
got
get
upset
that
about
bad
everything,
fish.
though, don't
That
they?
it's not, you know. Yeah, I think they're being silly. I think, you know, there's going to be people that go, well, I pre-ordered it in, you know, 10 seconds after it came up, and I want them to close it tomorrow so that no one else gets it. I think I don't aspire to, you know, I don't agree with that. And I think from Andy's point of view, like from, you know, people that own these studios, if the demand is massive, then fair play to them, reopening that pre-order. It's all about, once the figure comes out and it's released, then they will not make it available again. And your only option then is to, you know, seek it out with retailers to see if they've got any left, or you're onto the secondary market, eBay, things like that, you know. So I really admire Iconic's stance on this, and I think it, you know, it's another reason why they're you know, a company that's going to go on to massive things, I think, in the future, because they are collectors and they respect, you know, the things that are important to other collectors. So
Yeah, definitely. 100% there, Pete. 100%. It's a custom corner. Fuck all. We've not worked on anything. We've not done anything.
No, because you've been
guess the head sculpts
doing these, boys.
But I have.
Yeah,
I've been,
we put that in your new this week instead. So
yeah.
yeah.
So one thing
Mini
I did
Mayhem,
pick up.
mate. Yeah.
Yes. So one thing I did pick up is a painting station for my lap, because I can't sit for long periods of time.
Oh,
At my dining room table anymore. It's chucked up a few issues with me painting. So I thought, well, I could do 2-3 hours here and there, or like a few, you know, a little bit of time at the weekend. And yeah, it's worked a treat. It's worked an absolute treat. So I've managed to dive back in.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I've been giving myself a bit of a challenge to complete the Space Marine half of the Leviathan box set. So I've been doing the Terminators, the Chaplain, the Terminator, the Captain in Terminator armor, which is the guy with the sword, and these little flame
I like
dudes. Yeah, the Chaplain's pretty cool, with his big bloody axe. The Terminators are fucking huge. Like, they're massive. Because these are the Terminators I've got up here, right? And these are Games Workshop. What they've gone and done is a lot of the old models, they've turned around and said, we're not doing them anymore. You can still use them, you can still play with them, but they're now legacy models. Now, these are the new ones, right? This is the new Terminators. Love them.
Nice.
And my mate gave us a massive box set full of old metal models from when I very first started. So these are like 1995. So this, he's not got his arms on, but you get the idea. This is the size of a Terminator back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the size of the Terminator now.
Nice.
They have these little teleport homers which you drop in, and then you can kind of deep strike in earlier. That's the homer. That's the old Space Marine. So they're the same size as the new teleport homers. It's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I'm very much loving painting these at the moment. And being able to just do it while the telly's on in the evening, just do a couple of hours has been,
as I say,
well
they're perfect.
handy.
You sit in front of the TV and you can,
yeah,
you know, it's a bit more.
So
sociable
what I've done,
than sitting on
I've got
the dining
this,
room table.
Yeah, I've got this new light as well, and I kind of slide it under the tray because the the painting station is like it's about the size of a lap, so I've glued that to a lap tray, and I kind of wedge this like underneath my leg, and then hang it over the top, and I can see properly and do the painting. So yeah, and then I can just pick it up and bung it to one side, and all the paints I'm using are all there. And then I got some new tufts and stuff as well. So I've been whacking those on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been trying to knock out probably 5 or 6 a week. So yeah, the Terminators are finished yesterday. No, so the day before yesterday, and I've got another 5 of these little flamer guys to do. But I think the Terminators are the ones that I like the most.
Are you playing with these guys as well?
Yes, yeah, I am. So, well, it's funny because my mate, he's just getting into it. He's never played a game before. He's going to come down this Saturday, and we're going to have a game.
Yeah.
So he's going to end up playing with my Space Marines because he's got a set himself that he's not built, and I use the Tyranids out of the box, which I've made and haven't used. But yeah, I've been pretty much playing Space Marines all the time 10th has come out, which is years ago. I was very adamant that, you know, Space Marines are boring. They've been around for ages. Don't like them. I'd always go Chaos Space Marines or like Death Guard or something a little bit more gnarly. And then all these new models came out as part of Leviathan. I was like, actually, I quite like these. These are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then started to play with them for a few games. And yeah, I don't know if it's just because it's a new edition. It's 10th, but yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. So
yeah, I like
to get
somebody
the Leviathan
commented
painted up
on the guy in the middle with the sword saying that Buzz Lightyear lost his shit and gone off on a rampage.
Yeah, yeah. And I because this paint schemes, they're called mortar factors. So the blue Ultramarines, they're kind of an offshoot from that, but I've painted them in a way that I can use some of my other stuff and kind of mix it in a bit. But all that blood and gore on the base and that's all that UHU glue and a load of red shite that I shoved down on it, so it looked like he just slain that Tyranid and away he went, kind of thing.
He's slopping about in its guts,
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying these models.
No, they are really
they've
cool.
come out.
I do, I like them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got stuff like this, which is the Lion, which is a Raven Guard model, a Death Guard one. Not Death Guard, Dark Angels to do. Yeah, and then I've got the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Gilliman to do. And yeah, I've probably gotten a bit carried away with the 40k stuff because I've got so much more to do. Like all up here is just a load that I want to get done. All of that on there.
Yeah.
So I've got a fair bit. I've got a fair bit to crack on with, but yeah. And then I've got all those heads to do and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, I was going to say, what are those heads you got there?
Those
are
commissioned. Sent. Yes, yeah. These are. I can't remember the name. Sean Williams something. Not Sean Williams Scott. Have a look because it will be on here. It is terrible. I should know. It is Sean Patrick Flannery is the guy.
Oh, okay.
The name rings a bell. Can't remember what he's been in.
Is he?
But yeah, I've got
young Indiana Jones.
He may be actually.
Chronicles,
this is when he's a little bit older. Is that
yeah.
I have to double check actually because that might be the next one.
Yeah, young Indy. Yeah.
But these are. Yeah. Do you know when you know someone's message loads and you go, right, it's in here somewhere?
Yeah.
It's in here. Yeah, no, it is him from Young Indy and stuff. So yeah,
yeah.
I've got those to do, and I've got a trooper helmet to do, a few other bits, and a massive statue for Rainer. But he's having some other bits sent over, so we need all that in one go. So yeah, interesting.
Is he hoping to collect it from you when he's over here in November?
That would probably be easier than having to send it back.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because he's over, isn't he? later in the year. So yeah, we'll try and meet up with him.
Yes, he definitely wants to because he messaged me about it. So yeah,
Yeah, he
we
gave us the
definitely have to
dates
meet
and
up
stuff,
with him.
didn't he? So we need to get our arse in
Yeah.
gear for that, I think. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
So film and TV.
So-
I saw Oppenheimer last night.
Any good?
Brilliant, fantastic, and I did see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
I'm not really that bothered, but the fact that this was all shot in IMAX, and I saw like the size of the reel, and it was insane. And I thought, yeah, I don't mind spending a little bit extra to kind of get that. And I think it was worth it to sit on that bigger screen, and like the sound. The sound is very important in this, and it goes from like moments of almost complete silence to all of a sudden like 100 decibels, and the seats vibrating and everything. Not necessarily always in the bits you think like, oh yeah, when the bomb goes and stuff like that. I just think it was really well done. I mean, Nolan's fantastic and the visuals and everything, but like the sound is really important, and the soundtrack and everything. It was just very. I mean, I was just mesmerized. It's 3 hours long, and I didn't. I didn't fall asleep. I didn't fidget. I was just locked into it, and it's a very talky film. There's a the premise of it mainly is that it jumps between different years and stuff, and it's very much like a sort of trial. He's not on trial, but they're kind of trying to discredit him and stuff like that. So you've got Robert Downey Jr. So a lot of that's in like black and white, and then it goes back to like when he first started in he's studying and everything, and then obviously into the war and everything. It's just brilliant. It's not the sort of thing that it's not a cheery film, clearly, and it's not the sort of thing that I'd be like jumping back in to go and watch straight away. But as a piece of art, and also it's very educational. I did read up a little bit about the technology and everything behind it, but it does a good job of explaining it, and it's it was enthralling. Whether it's entertaining or not is a difficult way to describe it, because clearly its premise is real life, and obviously the things they created were pretty monstrous and killed a lot of people, but you can make your own decisions on whether it was the right thing. But yeah, I did very much enjoy it. So, and Shane said he gave it 10 out of 10, and I think I'd have to, as I say, it's not the I want to grab a film, I'm going to stick this on. You've got to concentrate. You've got to, it draws you in. And as I say, it might well be that I don't want to watch it again for another 2 or 3 years. But it's a fantastic piece of work. So yeah, I haven't seen Barbie yet. I'm not sure if I'm not.
No, I'll probably wait for it to come out on video.
And see it. Yeah, but a video. Yeah, well, you live in Canada, mate.
Yeah.
one for Ben and John there.
Yeah.
Although they might be on Betamax, not VHS. I'm not sure. Maybe Betamax won the war out there. Don't know. Yeah. But I said to the missus, I said, if you want to go, I'll go with you. But I'm not. But it was funny because we were sitting eating our burgers in Five Guys before the movie last night, and the sea of pink heading towards the cinema was quite entertaining, because people are really making a big thing and dressing in pink if they go and see Barbie. So it was quite that's quite entertaining.
Quite
to see,
sight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was mostly women. I don't think I saw any guys. No. But it's a good time for cinema, I think, with these two, opening simultaneously. It's got people back into the.
Sure. A good flick, family film, lots of laughs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's got people back, like good vibe about the cinema and everything, and so Oppenheimer. I think if you can see it at the cinema on as big a screen as you can with a good sound system, then you'll get you'll get more out of it. Yeah, so that was really good. You any plans to see it, or are you gonna?
Nah. I've just
No.
just don't like the cinema. I've
No,
decided I'm
just
not
don't
a
like
fan
people.
of. Oddly enough, I don't mind going to take my boy when it's like movies for juniors in the morning, because you expect kids to like kids. But every time I've gone to see something decent, there's always just people acting like dicks. So I just can't be
you're
asked.
right,
I'm
and I think that I think my experience with this is very different. I think the audience that came to see this, like, it wasn't a bunch of
because you're going
adolescent
to
dicks,
watch
if
it.
you like.
What I find
Yeah,
with
yeah,
everything else is that if you don't see it in that first week, you've got everyone else who's just got a cinema card and just goes, "Oh fuck it, I've got nothing better to do this evening." They're not interested.
No, and because we saw it on the IMAX, I think it's the only IMAX screen that's sort of within reasonable distance of where I live. I think you're going to London otherwise, so it kind of it was selling out, So the theatre was packed. It was really difficult driving around trying to find a parking space at this, and they've got thousands of parking spaces. It was really odd, but no phones out, no one talking. It was just like everyone was just watching the film.
There to watch the
It
film.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was it was probably one of the best like cinema experiences I've had in terms of that. There was no people wanted to watch it and listen to it and get drawn into it. So no, that was fine. But I completely understand your point of view from a lot of people just they don't know what to do, so they just decide to go to the cinema and then just chat and go on their phones, and they're not
they
really
just
there to
treat
watch
it
the
like they're
movie.
watching a film at home. They forget they're watching it with like another 100 people.
Yeah, exactly. So to go to something where people have gone, I want to watch this, I want to listen to this, I've booked it on this screen because I want the best experience. Was it was quite refreshing, I would say, from that point of view. So
yeah. I did watch. Have you watched Strange New Worlds?
Yes, I'm not that. Well, I've only seen 2, I think, because my mate's got the Paramount subscription, and I've not seen him for a couple of weeks, so I'm only 2.
I'm very much enjoying that. The one last night was the crossover episode with Lower Decks. Amazing, brilliant.
Oh yes, yeah,
well worth watching. Yeah, really good. Yeah, watch Lower Decks and watch that. It's fantastic. They're well worth it.
I'm rewatching the first series of Strange New Worlds because Amazon had it. They had a sale on, and you could buy it in HD for $4.99. So I thought,
that's well worth it. Yeah, worth every pound.
Yeah, exactly. I've got that forever, even if I haven't got Prime. So I've started watching those again, and when I get back from holiday next week, we'll start watching. But yeah, I did very much enjoy the first series, and I'm hearing good things about this. So have you been watching Secret Invasion at all?
No, I gave up. Watched the first 2 episodes, I think. Can't be asked for this.
Yeah, I have been watching it. I've got about 10 minutes of the last episode to watch. I've been a little bit ambivalent. I've said to Ben on his show that the only thing that's kept me going is Sam Jackson and Olivia Colman, because they're both fantastic actors. They're fantastic in this. It's the most Samuel L. Jackson I've seen Samuel L. Jackson in a long time. He's pissed off. He's telling people what he thinks. He's channeling his inner Jules from Pulp Fiction, but without the language. So I've enjoyed that, and Olivia Colman is fantastic, whatever she does as well. But in terms of the story, I'm a bit like, I'm not really that bothered. There's only 6 episodes, but I'm a bit with you. At least I've managed to make it to the end, which I didn't manage to do with She-Hulk. So it's got one over that anyway.
Yeah, I've been watching The Detectorists on Netflix. They've just added that. That's worth a watch.
I love that show. I've watched that probably 3 times through already.
Yeah, I've been.
I don't know why it suddenly popped up on Netflix, because it's been on an iPlayer all the time.
Yeah,
but Netflix have got it, and all of a sudden it's like people that even
It's
never
back
seen
again.
it or never heard of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I absolutely love it. It's so quintessentially British. It's so
It's
whimsical and
non-offensive.
like,
It's
yeah,
easy watching. It's good. Very much enjoying that at the moment.
it's brilliant. Just like
Mm.
British village, just yeah, one of my favourite shows, and I could just watch it
Yeah.
over and over again. I think I watched it all again a few months ago, because that's just it chills me out. I like
And
it.
it never seems to end.
Um,
It could have ended about 4 times over. They
yeah,
just keep going,
yeah,
which isn't
yeah,
a bad
yeah,
thing. It's all
yeah.
good.
And
But yeah.
they did the special as well. There's they did like
Mm.
a Christmas special or whatever, because it's always
Yeah.
about the fact that they're always they're always looking for this big treasure, and it's always just out of their grasp kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously Toby Jones and Mackenzie Crook,
Mackenzie Crook.
both fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great. So
They're very,
no,
very
definitely.
good.
If you've not seen Detectorists, check it out. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so that's our show. Good show.
That's it. We're
Just
done.
under 2 hours. We're going to do
It's
the
not bad.
well, we're almost done. We'll just do the housework now.
Almost. Yeah.
We'll do that. We do our network duties. So big shout out and thank you to our wonderful Patreon members. We've got Ian Seaby, Rena Mendes, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Van Serena, Ben Thomas, Chris Leddy, David Jones, Sam Gist, Dominator, Joel Brader, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns Figs, Badfish, Toy Cartel, Danny Lee, Dini Martin, Stephen Crett, Big Fern, Susan Marroquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick De Gregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Owen Escusina, the illustrious Rayner, Alan Morgan, Takathy Wah, Derek Bezadzinski, Aris Portillo, Alvin J, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Stephen Purchase, Sean Yahtzee, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Thank you all very much for your continued support. If you're not a Patreon and you'd like to join us, I will join the Empire. I'll just put the link in the chat. You've got the hot seat, $5 a month gets you digital benefits, so digital copies of the stickers and access to Ox After Dark replay, the Patreon chat, and obviously the weekly shout out on this amazing show. Sweet Angel, $750 a month gets you same benefits, but you get the physical stickers sent straight to your door, as well as the previous benefits. Certified Crispy gets you the Certified Crispy certificate on first pledge, plus all the other benefits of the previous tiers. And the Water Guy gets you the exclusive Pog Deluxe set and doubles of all the stickers that we send out, so you can give them to your friends and family as gifts, and then you don't have to buy them anything. And they'll love these. The July, yeah, the July-August Patreon benefits is the Zach's Wonderland hologram sticker and the Small Talk new logo sticker. So if you watch Small Talk, you know that they've redesigned their logo for the 100th episode that they're creeping towards in the same way that we are. I think they're going to unveil it a little bit before that show, possibly next week, and that's their new logo there. And we'll talk about doing something similar, just jazzing ours up a little bit for the as we move towards our episode 100. We also have you can become a YouTube channel member if you want to support the show and the network. We've got Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andre B, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hanson, Big Old Fern, Blurred Dad Life, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, Cram, CT603 DJ, Dominator, Dante's Boneyard, Eclectic Collector, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Gotham Cenobites, Jake, Just Another Friday Night, Justin Sports Card, KJ Smith, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Money Mendez, Mr. Mom Collectibles, Knight, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 16-Figure Focus, Shane, big up yourself, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S-Beam, Sam Gist, Slifer, SpongeBob Squareballs, Classy Thomas, Sunnyvale Russ, The Ben Thomas Show, love you Ben, Toy Cartel, and Zeke. If you'd like to join the YouTube supporters club, If you're a Patreon, it'll cost you 99 cents a month. You get loyalty badges, emojis, and shout outs on the show. Or if you're not a Patreon, you can still become a YouTube channel member. Peanut Gallery, $2.99 a month. Perks from the previous levels and member shout outs. We have TeePublic. So if you want some swag to wear, you can check them out. I'll put the link in the chat. That's the OFAC Celebration t-shirt, which I'm wearing right now. And there we are. Here's the network. I shall leave you to take us through the shows, mate.
So this is us. This is everything we do. A wide plethora of stuff. We got Collecting Weekly live unboxing. Clues in the title there. Question of the week. That's every week, oddly enough. What we tend to do is try and focus on what we do in the title there. It's quite handy. The reissue, that's on all the time, and they talk about the same thing over and over again. Small talk, which is the chitter chatter, about wrist pegs, things like that, all the small talk. Collecting Weekly live, which is only ever live, and they are on all the time again. How they don't sleep, constant.
No, definitely.
OFAC, the jewel in the crown, the reason we're here, the glue that holds the network together. That's us. We're here every other week.
I think we should just mention
once a week would be obscene.
Yeah. Yes. The Mighty Dean has returned. The Mighty Dean has returned to Collecting Weekly live.
He has.
He's been out on a sabbatical, and he returned on Tuesday night to great aplomb. Although following closely behind Zach selling his fellow hosts that Dean was throwing in the towel and wasn't going to do any more podcasting, and then he appeared.
And he came back.
I think it was
he had the growth removed, and it was fine. He's back.
I think the reaction was slightly more traumatic than Zach was aiming for. But no, good to see you back, buddy. The Collecting Weekly is not the same without Dean. So great to have you back, mate.
Yeah. Then we got After Dark, which is back-to-back wanking in the dark place. Live and Let Dice, which is geeky people that play with dice bags like this, full of it. We have Bricks and Brews, people getting pissed up and making Lego sets. How many bits of Lego can you put up your bum, that kind of thing. And Orcs PD, nice. Which is effectively Zach living out his policeman fantasy. I think in the last episode there was a construction worker, an Indian, a biker. In fact, they were doing this little dance. It was really weird. So that's us. That's everyone. That's the lot, and that is pretty much us done. It's been an absolute pleasure, as per always.
And, thanks for joining us, everyone. We've had up to about 25 people at one point watching live, which is really good for us. So thank you very much. We continue to build the hype for our 100th episode. We're now just 3 away, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
So we shall get our thinking caps on for that, and we're hoping to have some guest stars joining us for that evening. So that'll be good. But we will be back for episode 98 in 2 weeks' time. So
perfect. Well, thank you all very, very much. We'll see you later.
Yep.
Tatty buys.
Cheers all. Bye.
Bye.